Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you find yourself in this weird, wide, wacky world of ours. Tonight we resume the Unmasked Orlando vampire campaign. Tonight, our camera pans down to Jason's ranch, where an interesting meeting will be taking place tonight. Jason is currently sitting on the porch, smoking a cigar, waiting for a few known associates to show up to have possibly just a relaxed night and discuss some other important matters. The scene begins now with a SUV coming up the driveway.
Well, the SUV is driving up the driveway.
You've noticed that the driveway has been paved over even better than when it last was, and that the road is a lot less rough. There's been more things added. There's also a pool in the back, and there's a lot more parking space. Everything is a bit fancier now, and you've also noticed that there are some uh, like either horse stalls or cattle stalls or something off to the back that have been opened up and started to be built.
Right. I'm gonna go and park it. I'm gonna park it good.
Right. So
Don't
you don't
botch.
have a driver,
I'm
is
not
what
gonna.
No,
you're telling us.
I'm not
no,
gonna roll
no.
for parking.
It is a driveway. That's what I just said. Yes, it's paved over. It's a lot more space to park than there was last time. That's what I said.
Yeah. So I will park.
Goddamn Malkavians.
I assume the guys will get off first because I'm making an entrance here.
Hmm.
Yes, that's suitable.
Jason has already met Alexandra before, so he will simply sit and wait, put out the cigar, and kind of just hold up on the first step. Watch you guys get out.
Yes, I'll go out. Just dressed fancy, fancier this time. Good that there's new cobblestones because we would have problems.
As you guys come out of the car and you look up to the top of the stairs, because the house is built somewhat elevated with a basement level going into the ground, you see two pairs of glowing eyes in the darkness as two very, very, very large Saint Bernards come out onto the porch and look down at you guys. And Jason's like, Vakey gaily, easy. They are friends. You guys can go play. The dogs just kind of look at him, and then they kind of look back down to you guys and look back up, and Jason gives them a pat on the head, and dogs leave.
Well,
Come on inside,
Alexandra will
fellows.
walk towards Jason and give him the double kiss on the cheeks that people do.
Hmm. Alexandra, good to see you again. How have you been?
I've been quite well. How about you?
I've been fine. I heard that there's a lot of new faces coming to Orlando now that the space is open.
It remains to be seen. I can't say I've met anyone new yet, but
Oh, from what I hear, we're having quite the influx.
it's great.
And who are these two fine gentlemen, sirs?
Well,
Good evening,
this is Thomas
Thomas McMahon.
and John. Guys,
John
this is
tries to
Jason.
let go of his briefcase and tries to shake your hand.
He'll shake your hand, and he'll shake Matthew's as well.
We have been expecting you for a while now. That Rima said that we will meet someday, and so we have. A friend has been gained.
Um,
Supposedly.
Alexandra will kind of take you know, cross
You're,
her arm around Jason's and he says, "Don't freak out with this one."
oh, I'm not freaked out at all. Let me guess. Malkavian, right?
Yes, he's adorable though.
Jason's going to stop, and he's going to say, Do the daughters of Janus speak to you, young one?
We hear things in the web, and they are interesting.
Perhaps one day the two-faced daughter will speak with you. And that's a bit creepy because Jason has not mentioned knowing anything about the daughters of Jonas.
How very curious.
Would we know anything about that?
That depends. Do you have knowledge, kindred?
Well,
Or do you...
vampire lore, yes. I can
Mhm.
roll it. I can actually roll for it. Give me a sec.
Roll it.
Ba-da-ba-da. Whoops. Whoops. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I understand what you're talking about. So I'll
Just a
wink
moment.
at you.
Oh yeah, basically it's the two-faced daughter of Jonas of Pluto, but the split personality that represents
Yeah.
a lot of the Malkavian whatnot. And so he'll back up a bit and he'll say, come down, let's we can hang out down below. You're welcome in my domain."
Thank you for your hospitality.
Of course.
It is a pleasure to meet you, good sir.
Indeed. And you too, Thomas. I haven't heard a whole lot about you. From what clan do you hail from?
Assamite.
Ah, yes. I take it then
There doesn't
you
appear to be
have...
many of my kindred around here.
Sadly, not here in Orlando, but like I said, there are new kindred coming in quite rapidly due to the influx of space now. And I'm a bit curious, are you here for work? I take it?
Always looking for work.
Good. You'll have plenty coming up here very soon. So he walks down, and when you walk down into the basement level going down to basically the sub basement is very, very wide. It's been carved out way wider than the house is up on the picture, and so like it's basically like twice the size of the house, and comes down. You see a very, very, very nice kind of country roadhouse style bar, but it's also it's got a pretty decent amount of class to it, and you see it is like it's like really high quality. Like if you could say like the best looking like road or country style you've seen, that would be it. And there are a couple people just mingling and whatnot, but then there are also some people that look kind of like bodyguards in the side corners. And Jason leads over to one of the more comfortable rooms. It's a fairly nice lounge room with some nice leather couches and whatnot. And he's like, would anyone like a drink or drink, if you know what I mean?
I'll take the latter drink, and I'll be back in a moment. I just need to use the bathroom really quickly.
Was that in character or out of character?
Oh,
Both actually.
Well, you have to
Both.
specify, is the first drink the drink or second drink the drink?
First drink is alcohol. Second drink is blood.
Can we do a mixture of both?
Well,
That's fine with me.
oh, well,
I'll be back in a moment.
I'll take some of the second drink.
The fellow you had last time.
No, the other one.
The one who did not get to have your presents last time.
What?
He's very well. Do you remember the two guys that were there?
Yes.
You had from one of them,
Yes.
and you want the other one, correct? Not the one you
Yes.
already fed off of. Yes. After witnessing his friend get drunk off by you, he's very eager to meet you, Alexandra.
He is.
Indeed, and he comes in. You see that's the other guy. This is the guy with blonde hair this time, and he's about young age in mid 20s, a little bit younger than the other guy, but he looks like hyped that you are here. Like you can tell that this guy is obviously a fan since you last came in.
Well, I'll gesture him to sit next to me on the couch. I assume I'm sitting right next to Jason on the
Hmm.
couch,
Yes,
and
you
I'll
are.
gesture him to sit next to me on the other side.
Returning from the bathroom to collect my drink and sit myself beside Jason on the couch.
Come on, I'm seducing here. How dare you interrupt?
I thought
John
Jason will
looks
thank
at.
me for this interruption.
No, I wasn't seducing Jason. I was seducing the ghoul.
Did you wash your hands, Mr. Thomas?
Of course, John. Why else would I go to the bathroom?
Anyway,
It's always a party with a
yeah,
Malkavian.
yeah.
Going back to
Alexandra
Alexandra.
will uh run her fingers through his hair. Say, I like blondes.
The ghoul whose name is Thomas looks at you and he is just like he kind of looks over at Jason, and Jason just looks and he just kind of gives like the well, go for it, and he looks like really excited. He's like he starts to put himself into the position. He looks at you very nervously, but then like
Well,
you,
Alexandra will give him a kiss on the cheek, and then she will bite his neck and take a little nibble.
of course, dokie, and of course he is just enjoying the hell out of it.
And the two other guys can feel uncomfortable all they want.
Hmm.
John is just going to uncomfortably stare, but try to do it in I guess,
But
in a not
discreetly,
creepy way.
you can
Yeah,
you can
that.
discreetly stare at people.
Not discreetly, like you just glance a few times, but he tries to gaze away, but he keeps going back.
Just holds up his phone and starts recording.
There's no
Well,
that kind of bullshit, so he brought his own
then she will
camcorder.
stop and close the wound and say, "Thank you, Thomas." And then
Thomas
she will look towards John and like raise an eyebrow, like, dude.
He just looks
Thomas
away.
Thomas looks at Alexandra and he's like, yeah, anytime, Miss Diamond. Yeah, he says, hey, this is a bit embarrassing, but can I get your autograph? And then Jason just kind of like puts his head down and into his fist, and he's like,
I'm not a celebrity, dear.
well, you are to some of us around the local area.
Oh. Well, then she will take out a business card and sign it and give it to him.
He's like, hey, that works. Don't be a stranger, eh? And Jason's like, Thomas. He's like, sorry, boss. Sorry.
She will start giggling and turn on the other side and pretty much lean on Jason.
That kid embarrasses me all the damn time, but he's good work.
It's adorable. Don't worry about it.
How loud is this club of yours? Out of
In this
character.
in this in this particular room, you wouldn't be hearing too much. However, out in the roadhouse area, there might be some stuff going. But speaking of which, he actually turns to John. He says, John,
Yeah.
I've got a few musicians on standby and ready to schedule and whatnot, but would you be willing to play certain nights?
That depends on what kind
Depends on what.
you want to play.
We're
What do
losing
you
your
want
sound,
to
dude.
play? Crap. What do you want me to play?
Out of curiosity, he did a check on you before you showed up. What is your kind of music that you normally play?
He plays jazz. Like have you heard of Miles Davis?
Yes.
He plays shit like that.
Okay. There are a few black tie nights he's got here, so he would definitely want you to come do some jazz.
It, it is a good way to meet some new friends.
Well, not only that, it's a great way to start establishing your business, if you will, or your profession around this area. The more places you go and perform, the more your work gets spread out, the more people want you.
How curious, and what do you want for this help, Mr. Jason?
Oh, perhaps minor for minor?
Hmm, why does it always have to be that? What if
No.
I tell you you can be a friend instead, and I will help
That,
when you
oh,
need it?
don't get me wrong. Those days are, as much as I miss those days, they are gone. The code of chivalry has alas been thrown into the unfortunate black puddle of time. But your deal is fair. We'll go with that.
Being a friend is a much preferable thing than boon. You
Indeed,
can
it
get more
is.
out of it.
If only our kind wasn't so
What, greedy?
unchivalrous. Unchivalrous, I guess, would be a nice term.
Well, John, I'm impressed. You're quite smart. As from what I see, you'll be getting a lot more out of that deal.
What do you mean? I am but a simple, humble Malkavian, just here
What I
to
mean is that Jason has a lot more to offer in general.
He just smiles at you.
It appears John has made deals before. Good. He'll do well here in Orlando.
He pulls up a hand again to shake to our new friendship, Mr. Jason.
Of course.
I hope it doesn't go sour. I would like to see where your future leads to.
I hope mine does not go sour as well. And he looks
Since
over
you are
to,
now a friend, I will tell you if it does go somewhere you
I would
don't
appreciate
want it to.
I would appreciate that. Thomas,
Yes, may I help you?
yes, should you be officially doing work in the future and your clan gets all of the, I guess, the Assamite term for paperwork
Yeah.
established and whatnot, soon after this little Sabbat raid here, I may actually have a job for you.
And
Jason
what would this?
dear, it's not
What would this
yet
require?
established that Thomas is going to attend the raid, is it?
Well, no, I didn't say he would attend. I'm saying we're waiting until after.
Hmm. But there's a reason why I bring this up.
Go on.
So, Thomas, there are rewards by the prince for
Yes,
attending this raid. So, would you consider it?
I would. And what would these rewards entail?
Well, about that, you'll have to discuss it with Primogen Vanessa, I assume.
One of the St. Bernards has made its way into the room and is now just laying on the other side of the couch, or like not on the couch, but on the other side.
Jason, I assume you will be on my team?
Of course.
That's what I'm hoping.
He kind of looks at you and he's like, I wouldn't have it any other way.
I really would like to see you in action.
I would like to see you in action. I hear you're something else. And it's been so long since I've gotten a nice stretch. I was getting
well,
bored recently.
well, if you're getting bored, we can spar anytime. And still wink.
he kind of looks at her and he says, "Well, that sounds amazing. Can we do both kind of sparring?" And then he winks at her.
I guess someone else is the Malkavian here, and someone else is reading my mind.
He gives this very nice smirky grin, and he says, my dear Miss Diamond, I would never, unless of course you wanted me to delve in there."
Now, let's not make your other guests uncomfortable.
Of course, indeed. Um,
By all
what
means, indulge yourselves.
Mm, it's not, it doesn't make us uncomfortable. It's a good lesson to learn, just to listen, see what you like, see what
that
everyone
is
likes.
that is indeed true. Keep yourself out of the spotlight and always keep ears open, and you will go far in our society. That is correct.
It is a lesson to be learned, to learn new friends.
Of course, you need
The
to learn not to have your lips loose, at least not when it's not needed.
You should take a page from my book, good sir, about loose lips.
And what is that?
My lips aren't loose.
Well, Thomas, sometimes things need to be said. I
Oh
think
shit,
that
Darth Vader!
I think John can
Also, that was my
be
ringtone.
I think John can be a really good information broker if he wants to.
I mean, hey,
He, John starts stroking his bag and he smiles. We are curious about what you spoke of earlier, something about the raid.
Well, are you interested in joining this raid?
I am not, but someone else is interested in it.
Of whom do you speak?
Our dear mutual friend. He starts stroking his bag again.
I believe he
Perhaps
is
you
talking about
can
his.
perhaps you can name that mutual friend?
Oh, she doesn't like to be named. She prefers her name out of anyone's lips. Wants it to be silent and tucked away, locked in a box, thrown away in the ocean. No one needs to know her name except for me.
Can you fillet your microphone a little bit?
What?
Exactly.
Is this better? Why the
Yes.
fuck does it keep doing that? How weird.
I don't know.
So
Um
after Jason talks with Lord Vader and Lord Vader leaves, um, he asks everyone to come follow him real quick and go for a little stroll out by the pond because he wants to show you guys something.
I assume it's paved,
Oh yeah,
right?
oh
Okay.
yeah.
Or else you'd have to carry me.
You could do that. You go out
Would
to
that be so
the
bad?
left side of the pond, and he shows you one of the trees that's out on kind of the more edge of the property pond. And on the tree there are huge claw marks, like almost bear size, if not bigger.
I'm gonna turn and look at Jason. Please tell me these are yours.
He shakes his head. They are not mine.
Are they from the Daughters of the Moon?
I don't think so. I have not seen any of those kind here, and I have not seemed to encroach on any of their land. So this is probably one of my clan.
Hmm.
And whoever this is, they have been stalking me, although they have not made themselves known at this point, but they are most certainly watching.
Why would they be stalking you?
I don't know. I have pissed off a lot of people in my past, made a lot of enemies. Perhaps this is them finally coming calling.
You should probably deal with that before it becomes too pesky. It's
Well,
bad business to leave your enemies alive.
Well, at the moment, what we're looking at is a breach of domain, and that worries me.
indeed. Although to answer Mr. Thomas's question, tell me, Thomas, how many enemies do you have?
None.
How many enemies do you not know of?
If I had any enemies I didn't know of, I still wouldn't know of them right now.
Exactly. So how do you know that you have no enemies?
Because any enemies that I know of, I disposed of years ago.
Indeed, so you
What
have
a
enemies
waste.
that you do not know of.
Well, in my business, I find it is a bad habit to leave too many people out for your blood when it's your job to take care of someone else's blood.
Indeed, Thomas, and I agree with you wholeheartedly. Unfortunately, you can't always know what enemies we have and what enemies we don't. Most of my enemies are dead.
So what you're saying is that you don't have any suspects. It could be.
None at the moment, no. Currently looking into it.
I think we should take this to the prince, or at least to the sheriff.
I'll definitely be sure to do that after the little excursion that we will go on. At least then I'll be more inclined to. I think at that point he'll be a lot more inclined to listen since I've done a job for him at that point.
Well, regardless of that, someone has breached your domain. You have to inform the sheriff as soon as possible. That's what
Indeed.
I would advise you.
I was going to inform the sheriff tonight, actually. It only just recently happened within the last 10 nights. Which is right around when that new shipment of kindred came in.
Hmm. Have you considered some extra surveillance around your range?
Indeed, I'm getting it installed probably tomorrow night.
Good.
You see John smiling and then looking in weird places in the near the tree, and he starts stroking the bag.
Jason, do let me know if you need any help.
Oh, definitely. I will most certainly let you know, especially if there will be a scuffle. I'm actually hoping that there will be a scuffle.
No, no, I'd rather not have any unnecessary conflicts.
We would like to try and help you. You are a new friend. We don't
And
want your blood spilled anywhere.
how would you do that?
By meeting new friends.
He kind of thinks for a moment because he's out of character. Jason has a Malkavian friend in Chicago, but he thinks for a moment. He says, "Well, I'm sure we can all come to some arrangement, but I have a strange feeling about this one. Now that I've thought about it, now that you're here and we've been talking, I may have a suspicion of who it is."
Is it someone that you know?
Yes, but it's not someone that should be here. Not someone that should be here at all.
If we may encroach in your privacy, we would like to meet this friend of yours.
Well, that's just the thing. I can't exactly introduce you. I know that this might be his mark, but I have no idea where he would be.
So,
Surely your friend has heard of modern technology called a cellular phone.
He is of the older generation.
so who might that be?
He is going to say, "Oh, an old clanmate," and that is complete bullshit. So he's going to have to roll a lie, and he sucks at it.
And I
Or he,
suck at telling who's lying, so
What do you roll for that?
he
If you're
rolls
well,
manipulation subterfuge, and we roll perception empathy.
so I got one hit.
Why one hit? That's 3 hits.
What are you talking about? 9? Oh yeah, one.
Seven,
Oh, one, seven,
six.
6. Yeah, what am I saying? 3 hits.
I
So
got 3 hits, so I can tell you're lying. Finally, I
one,
can tell you're
fuck my
lying.
life, I only got a 1.
yes,
Ah,
so John is completely convinced. Alex, you know this that he's lying.
I'm not gonna say anything yet, but I will take him aside at some point later during the evening. And very far away from John.
At that point, Jason will notice that some of his dogs have come over, and he's like, "Do you mind? It's time for their evening exercise." And he reaches into one of his coat pockets and he pulls out a tennis ball and he just chucks it like a freaking professional athlete, and it just goes, phew, and you see the Saint Bernard just go bounding off, and it seems that the Saint Bernards have celerity.
So they're fast.
Oh yeah.
those are
What we
some
rolled
beautiful
for to tell you're lying again?
perception
Perception
and
empathy.
empathy.
That was one hell of a late check.
Yeah.
Sorry, you
Thomas
have to get me. Yeah.
Thomas was just stoned in the background, like wait, huh, what?
Your friends are really beautiful, Mr. Jason.
Oh, of course. They've been with me for a long time. And with that, Jason's just kind of going to talk and mingle with you guys and just play with his dogs as normal. He doesn't have much more to say at the moment.
God
Nope.
damn it.
No.
Thomas is convinced that Jason is telling the truth. Only Alexandra.
Jason, why don't you show them your shooting range?
Yes, I have an
That would be
outdoor or
interesting.
indoor. And he'll go ahead and he'll take him on a tour of the shooting range and whatnot, show him the ropes and whatnot. I imagine you gentlemen are proficient with firearms.
It has been long since I've used one, but I like to think that I still am good at firearms.
Why don't you give it a try then?
I'm not too bad with firearms myself now.
All right. He'll give you a few clips to spend in the indoor range. Go ahead and roll Dex plus firearms.
Uh,
You do realize that I said that so I could whisk you away, right?
Well, yeah, he's if you want to pull him away, he'll just let them do it. It's an indoor range. There's not much they can do.
Oh,
I
yeah.
got 2 successes. Well, one's a 10, but I don't think that's a crit.
Yep. So John and Thomas both go out and shoot.
5 successes.
Yeah,
And,
Thomas
and
does.
Alexandra will give a very suggestive look to Jason.
Jason looks
Oh,
at.
by the way,
Go ahead.
whilst you were giving us a tour of your place, it looked like John was analyzing every bit of the area, just looking at the weirdest places.
Hmm.
Out of character, he opened aspects and he's just trying to look at your whole house and notice things.
So
You'll notice that there's ghouls and dogs.
pretty much, Brandon, from where John is, we have to be at the other side of the ranch to make sure he can hear us.
Well, of
They're
course.
they're
I
firing
mean,
guns. I'm gonna turn
yeah,
off
Yeah,
aspects.
yeah. At this point, not only that, Thomas kind of, or um, yeah, Thomas basically is just kicking the crap out of John in terms of marksmanship right now.
yeah. So I will announce. You boys have fun. We'll be back in a jiffy, and he will pull Jason away. So
After
where are
she
you
gives it,
taking me?
he'll take you over to a very, very nice looking little setup that he's got out in the center stage where he's got a little landmass going out into the pond. And he's got this little, what do you call them? Like a gazebo or a little, like, kind of archway,
Yeah,
whatever they are.
gazebo. Yeah, pergola, whatever.
And he says, "And what did you wish to speak with me about? I assume that's the reason we left your two associates."
Well, actually, what she will do is she will go and she will kiss him.
He looks a little bit surprised, but he definitely embraces it.
And then she'll pull away and she'll say, now that we got that off our chests, would you mind telling me why you lied?
he kind of he kind of goes a little bit red, and he says, "Oh, I've really got to work on that. Yeah, there's a reason for it. I will be honest with you. There is some information that I may withhold, but I'll be forthcoming with you. The one who I suspect who has been doing this is an old enemy of mine. He is very old. He is, well, a part of my past that I wanted to leave behind, but I wasn't able to. And despite the friends that I made in Chicago, I thought he was gone forever, but he is not, and now he is back, and he will be something I will have to deal with in the future. He is my brother.
Your brother.
Yes.
And just how old is he?
200 my senior, so he's about 300.
Hmm.
We aren't brothers by blood, of course.
Yeah, I
It was a
understand.
family of creation, I suppose.
Yes. May I ask why is your brother your enemy?
I do trust you, Miss Diamond, but I don't trust you that much just yet. That information I will have to keep to myself.
Or will you? Hmm.
Well, I have no doubt that I'll be telling you in the future, but it is something that I would like to
No,
keep to myself for right
I
now.
will actually roll for it.
Are you going to? What are you using?
I'm not sure yet. That's what
It's like, I'm going to use something. What are you using? I don't know.
I don't know
Intimidation?
yet. I can decide. Look, I'm not gonna use a discipline because that would be a big no-no, especially in your own domain. So you're lucky because I could use presence and I could make you say whatever I want you to say.
Yeah, out of.
But yeah, I will try to. Maybe seduce it out of you, because persuasion is not my strong suit, and I don't think intimidation would be a good strategy.
So should I roll willpower here?
No. Wait. Mm. I don't think willpower is the role. Let me see what I could use. I would probably go with charisma and subterfuge, and you would probably need to go with. Oh fuck! Help me here.
I don't know. I don't do many social characters. I don't know what roles to do.
Okay, wait. Let me think this through.
What did I
Um,
miss?
We're just
Nothing.
chatting.
We're still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, but you
Um,
wanna roll
Probably would
something.
be wits and. Hmm,
Well,
hmm,
I know what my dice pool is going to be with most of those. So
um. Hmm.
go
Wait.
ahead and go ahead and make your roll. I actually have my pool ready.
Okay.
I'm also going. He's also going to spend a willpower on this.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna pretty much
1, 2, 3,
uh
4.
try
We
to
tied.
charismatically force you to tell me.
We
So that
tied.
means what?
We tied.
No, because I'm gonna forcefully try to convince you to tell me, which means that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 successes. Because I have a specialty in charisma.
Oh, okay. So let's see here. All right. Go ahead and tell me how you're going to go about and do that.
Listen, Jason, you know that I like you, and I'm perhaps one of your only actual friends around here. At least one of the first people who have reached out to you. Believe me when I say this, we all have things in our past that we don't want known. But at this point, it seems that you might be in danger, and it's in your best interest to tell me
You won't like
everything
it.
necessary. Well, there are many things about me you wouldn't like, and they will eventually come up.
He tries
And
so
if need,
hard to not.
and it, and if need be, you know that you'll be one of the first people I'll reach out to.
Oh man, he does not want to do this. He struggles so hard, but finally he leans down. He puts his ear very close to you. He puts his mouth very close to your ear, and he puts himself into an odd position, like when he stands. He doesn't stand facing you. In other words, like you're both in a pretty decent position to bite each other's necks, but he stands sideways, so he's facing you from the side, giving him a much better advantage if it turns into a fight. And he puts his mouth very close to your ear and he says, I was once a general, so to speak, of the Sabbat. A long time ago.
How long time ago?
Oh, about 100 years now.
Well,
It
so
wasn't it wasn't by choice, if that's what you're implying.
no, this is not what I'm implying. What I'm implying is what have you done to redeem this past? Have you redeemed this past?
I am continuing to redeem this past as best I can. No one has exactly given me a judgment or how much I've paid back, so to speak. but I've done enough to injure them, which is why I came to Florida. I wanted to kill more of them. I want to eliminate the Sabbat completely.
It was a long time ago. Nobody should know this.
Indeed, that's why I didn't want to tell anyone.
You have nothing to fear from me.
We have everything to fear from one another. We are children of Cain, and our nature precedes us, no matter how hard we try. But perhaps we can rise above the beast. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see.
Well,
But for now,
if I can do it, anyone can.
he'll kiss her.
She'll take a step back for a second, and she will think.
And he says, that was payback for the first surprise. Got you on that one. And then he winks.
No, then she will pull him back and continue kissing him. Because, well, we need to have some fun.
And I guess the camera just pans out to a very nice romantic setting with the moon in the background shining over the lake. And I think we're good unless anyone else has any declarations.
I would like to speak to Thomas.
Yay!
Go for it.
Go on then.
As we're firing our guns, John is going to look at you and say, I was gonna ask you to play a game, but since you are already a friend, it would be pointless. Now I'm just curious. Where did you
Go on.
learn how to shoot so well?
I have to say now, unfortunately, John, my uncle was not exactly a very savoury character, and he had a very bad habit of shooting dogs, knackers, horses, and occasionally people he didn't like very much. And he taught
So,
me a bit about firearms.
so your uncle, he is a hunter, I assume.
No, he's a farmer with a very, 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 very bad temper.
Pardon my asking, but what time did you originate from?
Oh, there's a question. I was still alive about 70 odd years ago. So I suppose I was alive just before World War II.
Well, then that's pretty understandable why your uncle is so angry about everything.
No, he was just a cantankerous old bastard.
I, for one, am from the same era, I suppose, as you are.
What was it now? For my uncle now, in one of his more disreputable deeds, our neighbour's dog was going through the yard and he shot it. And then he threw it in the bin. And then the following day, when the neighbour was talking to us, he said, Patrick. He said, yes. Did you see that old dog of mine yesterday? He said, I did. And then he goes, if you don't mind me asking you again, have you seen that old dog of mine today? And he said, I didn't. And then he said, right so, and that was it.
That's a very smart way of dealing with things, I suppose. He didn't lie.
No, he didn't. And he
He
told
was,
the truth completely.
now that is a very good lesson.
He told the truth and did not hang himself. It is actually a lesson I've taken to heart.
That is a very good lesson.
It's also why the devil is in the details, which is why I'm kicking your arse in this marksmanship contest we're having.
I don't really know how to use guns properly. I
They
never did
are
serve, never did anything.
they're a very useful tool to have,
Yes, I was
and they've all
taught to use them just in case something bad happens, but
well as an
in
assassin, it is very effective for me to use the right tools for every job.
an
And
assassin,
our kindred would not appreciate me tearing someone's head off with my bare hands. That would have raised too many questions for the masquerade.
so you kill to protect the ivory tower, I suppose.
Not in the slightest. I literally don't care who my employer is. I just kill who they tell me to kill without violating the masquerade. After all, it would be a problem for us all if the cattle were to discover that vampires are real and living amongst them.
And what would it take to hire such a man of your caliber?
Well, unfortunately, due to the nature of my clan, I'm accepting payment in currency for the moment.
Currency.
Yes. As we're in Orlando, it's American dollars.
And how much would it cost?
That depends on the target and what I have to do to get it done.
Hmm.
Typically, I don't charge less than about $10,000. A vampire has rent and blood to buy, you know.
Maybe someday I will need to call for you to help me with something if that day ever comes. I hope
And
it
of
doesn't.
course, special requests cost extra.
And what would
Like
count as a special request?
anything over and above shooting, stabbing, or breaking someone.
Shall we say carving out their spine with their skull, putting it in a basket and putting it in the ocean?
Yes, that would be a special request. It's not unreasonable, but it's doable. If you wanted someone, say, killed by a rabid dog or made to look like a accident, they are slightly more difficult to arrange.
But it
And
is
if you want
doable
special,
for you.
oh yes, I've had a bit of practice over the last few years doing that.
How very curious. You are a very interesting fellow, Mr. Thomas.
Thomas McMahon.
Yes, very interesting. You are very fun to learn.
Well, I take pride in my craft, good sir.
Yes, it is a very interesting craft. What if instead of asking you to kill someone, I asked you to train or help protect them, stuff like that? Does it cost the same?
That depends on how many people you want killed, really.
Hmm. So, what if no one has to die?
I suppose I just charge a flat the basic rate then, as only time is wasted.
Hmm. I definitely like learning you, Mr. McMahon.
It is interesting to converse with you, John.
Thank you. Not many people think so. They get too weirded out by how we see things.
You see, everybody sees things differently. To me, I see most people as victims or contracts.
You weird in a very bloodied world then, Mr. Thomas.
Well, I am an assassin, so
Yes, an assassin and a kindred. Doubly bloodied. doubly muddled.
Well, the
Very
kindred part
interesting.
does make things significantly easier as opposed to when I was alive.
I can see why you are turned, I suppose.
Well, I wasn't exactly an honest person before I was turned either, so that may have had something to do with it.
Hmm. And what horrible things have you done? Pardon my asking.
Uh, Actually, all the horrible things I've done is when I was a kindred.
Hmm. Stepping away from humanity, I assume.
I try to, how would you say it, stay in touch with humanity somewhat, as I want to maintain myself and not give in to the beast.
A very noble thing. Very hard for you, I assume.
I appreciate the sentiment, but nobility is not my intent. As an assassin, it does not serve me well to give in to the beast in the middle of a contract.
So you
The
are
beast,
just doing it to help you with your work.
and to keep my own sanity, of course. If I'm going to live forever, I want to be myself.
And do you think you'll live forever?
Probably not, but that's what stopped me making a go of it.
If anything were to happen and we were to see it, we would like to warn you someday. You are a very interesting friend at the moment.
Thank you kindly, John. I do endeavor to make new friends as well.
Yes, so do we.
We?
Yes, we. The whole reason why we ended up here in the first place is because of the words they keep telling us about how beautiful and wonderful this Florida is and how someone might be needing help.
Well, so far from Florida, I've just noticed how annoyingly warm it is.
Yes, I do prefer the lovely place of Massachusetts. It's a lot colder.
Well, out of character, you wouldn't really be able to tell the temperature because you're dead.
Yes, the vampire.
Yeah, you get wet.
Vampires with better humanity have better feelings for this kind of thing.
Well, what's your humanity?
I think it's. Let me just check again. I think it's 6.
Well, no,
God
you wouldn't.
damn.
5.
You wouldn't tell. That's not high humanity. That's
Wait,
under
do you have
normal.
higher humanity than I am? What's my humanity at? Because fuck, if your humanity is higher than mine, then holy shit, I am a fucking terrible person.
Why? What's your
Wait, where?
Well,
humanity?
Oh, thank fuck. It's the same. I thought it would be lower for some reason.
You're 6? You're
Yes.
neonates and you're 6?
I'm 5.
Yeah.
You're
Humanity,
5?
so. Yes.
Oh my god.
What
Brandon,
are
how
you?
about you? I'm 7.
I believe I am 6 or 7.
I never go below 7 at the start.
Well, my morality is somewhat questionable for my line of work.
I am just a fucking weirdo
I
who
mean,
fucking does weird shit.
look, in my previous line of work, my morals were questionable, but I still have a 7. I mean, come on, dudes. Anyway,
You're a drug dealer. You don't go around actively
I'm not
killing people.
anymore, okay? And you don't know that in character, okay? Shut the fuck up. Okay,
We're not talking in
Brandon,
character.
let's take our way back to meet our friends.
Alrighty.
So we're gonna be
So,
walking back.
so Miss Diamond, will you and I be having an excursion after the little raid? Say maybe a day or two afterwards?
Before, after, does it matter? As soon as it's happening.
I suppose anytime you're available, I am as well.
Well, do you have something specific in mind?
Hmm. Well, since you have me at a bit disadvantage, why don't we do something that you would want to do? You can choose the excursion and the style, the place, time, location, you name it. And it will be about you, so to speak, at first. And then the next one we go on can be about me, my
Or how
style.
about you surprise me? Just tell me the dress code and I'll leave it up to you.
Shit.
Okay, I think I can do that. And
Great.
I'll definitely give you a rain check.
By the way, my availability is still pretty good at this point. My store isn't yet set up, so I'm not very busy.
Then perhaps tomorrow night, then.
Well, what time will you pick me up? Or should I pick you up?
Oh, I can pick you up, say around 10, 11. Give you time to get freshed up.
11 will be good.
11, very well.
I will text you my address.
He says, I think I already know of a nice place. Dress code B plus.
What the fuck is B plus?
B plus is like slightly above business class. A class would be like for example, remember the ball in Dublin?
Yeah.
That would be A. So B
Okay.
plus would be like just a little bit under that.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Nice, but yeah, basically nice, but not black tie.
Okay. So not a ball gown, more like a cocktail dress or something.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, got that nailed, man. I got fashion sense.
Got two specialties in fashion.
Well, no, I have one specialty in fashion.
So they will proceed back.
So, boys, did you have fun?
Indeed, our host has a good selection of firearms.
I aim to
Well,
please.
this is America.
This is
The
Florida.
land of the free.
Where nothing is free.
Beautiful place.
So, are you guys ready to head out, perhaps?
Yes.
Yeah, no problem.
Hey, then start
Then I will.
walking towards the driveway then.
You do, and the Saint Bernards follow everybody. Saint Bernard just comes up and just goes.
John is going to walk up to your dogs and he's gonna pet. Wait, how many dogs do you have?
Do you have
2.
animal Ken?
No,
Are you
it's
sure you
fine.
want to do
If they
this?
maul me, it's fine. He's doing it for a reason, okay? He's gonna go
Uh,
to your dogs and he's gonna try to pet them.
okay. Now these dogs are ghouls of Jason, and Jason does have animalism too. So Jason is going to have them sit on you.
Okay. Yeah, while that's happening, he's going to try to remember what your dogs look like.
They are big Saint Bernards, both with tan and white patterns, and they're just huge at this point, and they look almost identical to each other.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
And with that, we will end the session with everyone walking back to the vehicle and the moon fading off into black. Thank you, players, for playing. Thank you, watchers, for watching.
I bid you all good day.